Well, I tell you what, and good morning, it hit the ball out of the park, 9.1%. And I think it's put a realisation that it seems to be onward and upward. Are we going to hit double figures? And there's no doubt that the Fed, and I'm just listening to commentary, Atlanta Fed Chair, or Fed President, I should say, Raphael Bostic, saying that 1% is on the table for the July hike, 26, 27 July.
As far as Peter, we've seen on the equity market reaction, there is about discounted almost the inflation rate or interest rate hike from the Fed. But as far as we've seen on macro front, the data is saying that US market will be now in consolidation zone to negative bias. Do you feel that recession or the growth momentum will be now slowing now?
I think absolutely, and I think it has been slowing. I'm looking forward to seeing the Q2 earnings that are starting, I think, this evening. The banks are releasing their first numbers, so they'll be the first ones off financials, and then we'll be looking at everything starting next week as far as those Q2 earnings and what impact that's going to have and demonstrate to Wall Street and to Main Street whether we're seeing a big retraction or a big pullback as far as earning capacity and earnings for all of these major top 500 companies.
Right. And the earnings season also kick off now in US market. So what's your expectation from Dow Jones and Nasdaq or S&P 500? Which kind of moment now we can expect from the equity markets? Do we see downside or do we see upside or the range bound market? What's your take on this?
Well, I think it'll go a little bit softer yet. We've seen a big pullback over the first 6 months, was I believe the worst in history as far as the percentage and movement. So that gives us an indication that that bear market or that big pullback, I think there's further downside yet. So I'm just seeing very strong US dollar, high interest rates, and possibly further downside for US equities, and then it might find a level to play with from there.
But after yesterday inflation data, we've seen again inverted yield curve. Now that's another thing. That's a scenario from the bond side will be effect on even the US market as well as global bond market. What kind of expectation we can take from the bond market? Do we see further sell-off in global bond market?
As far as the bond market's looking, I think that you're going to see a continuation as far as we saw Canada up 1% overnight, 100 basis points. You've seen Hungary up, Pakistan, and many other central banks in the last week or two globally. So that's only going to increase. So as far as I can see, it's going to be stronger market for bonds. And with interest rates moving up, how are they going to manage the forward inflation situation over the next couple of months? I think it's going to be very tough for any central banker to manage.